Hey guys, what's Gump here? It's been a while since I've done Halo news, but I decided to cover this article that I found recently until before I started recording, which is a little strange because usually I don't cover Halo news unless it's big or interesting. But I thought this one from Video Gamer was really concerning and also insightful because it says here that like a former art lead from Halo Studios, what used to be 343 Studios, was um, talking about like the possibility of Halo 3 anniversary. But as you can see here, due to resource issues and contractor limits, the studio wasn't able to make the game from fundings by Microsoft. And this is probably a topic I wanted to get into because I know in the Halo community for years since like Halo 2 anniversary came out in 2014 alongside the Halo Master Chief Collection that people were like, "Oh man, Halo 2 looks so good, but can we get a Halo 3 anniversary?" Because Halo 3 is just one of the most beloved games in video game history and in the community. Personally, if you ask me, I don't think we really need a Halo 3 anniversary. I think it has aged well. The lighting and the fidelity still looks good. The gameplay is still really solid and everything. So in this article, is published by Lewis White. It says when 343 Industries celebrated the 10th anniversary of Halo Combat Evolved, which was in 2011, by the way, they released a full remaster in the form of the controversial Halo Combat Evolved anniversary. Honestly, that could be a whole another video on its own I could just talk about, but the whole point is in 2011 there was Halo Combat Evolved anniversary, which is the 10th anniversary of Halo 1 that came out in 2001, one of the greatest innovating video games in both the first person genre and the gaming industry at the time. And then a few years later, in 2014, we got Halo 2 anniversary and the Master Chief Collection. Now in 2017, when it came, people were wondering, oh, are we gonna get a Halo 3 anniversary? Because it's the 10th anniversary of Halo 3. Halo 3 launched on, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was September 25th, 2007, which marks like 10 years since that was released at the time. And so, according to Darren Bacon, who is a lead concept artist for Halo 5 and Halo Infinite, he says that there was going to be a Halo 3 anniversary, but made by 343 Industries, but quote, however, due to the demands of post-launch support and the troubled early development of Halo Infinite, the studio ultimately lacked the resources to deliver on the project. So what does that mean, Woodscub? You may be thinking yourself, what does this imply? Was it the studio's fault? Was it Microsoft's fault? Was there were like not enough creative leads on the games for future projects? And ultimately, I think it comes down to just honestly just public funding from Microsoft and what was going at the time with Halo 5, Guardians, and early Halo Infinite. Because if you've been around the Halo community for like the past 20 years or so, you know that Halo games sort of have like weird, long, tricky development games cycles. And honestly, as you can see right here, it says the problem is that 343 runs into, or Halo Studios now, is that a 18-month cycle on a contract sometimes isn't enough to make a project. So if you watched my videos before, I mentioned this with my what being a Halo fan is like in 2025. I said that honestly, it really comes down to Microsoft holding the IP back because of the funds and the contract limitations and just what 343 Industries and Halo Studios has developed in the last 5 years. Because gaming development now has become so rampant and so game changing that remasters and remakes aren't usually the priority of like established IP franchises like Halo, for example, like Gears. It's usually more on the sequels and what studios are gonna land on. And as he said here, it says Bacon established that Halo 5 Guardians and Halo Infinite struggled during development due to Microsoft's long-standing use of contractors, freelance workers who are restricted to an 18-month contract. So imagine, you will, that you've been hired by Halo Studios, right? Because you apply to Microsoft's careers website. You go to the studio, you get familiar with people, and now you have a time limit. You have a time limit on how long you're to make on the contract. And honestly, I think this is a huge issue within Microsoft's reign with video game development and Xbox game studios because I think the thing people should really emphasize and learn from or take away from this article and like other sources of media out there is 18 months isn't enough to make a project. Video games now are so grandiose, so big, so much time invested into money and the effort that they take like so long to release. Like GTA 6, for example, it's been like what, like 12 years since GTA 5 came out, and Rockstar now just announced a trailer in December of 2023 for when GTA 6 come out. Sure, in the meantime, they made other games like Red Dead 2, but that's only one game at that time. But that's weird because it's Rockstar. They're well known for making great games. And yeah, I think this paragraph right here sums it up. I think the issue is around product cycles. Another issue, the real root cause is not even really like game development. The concept are explained. I mean, it's the problem that 343 runs into or Halo Studios now is that an 18-month cycle isn't just enough to make a product because honestly, when he says Bungie did it when I was there, they hire projects essentially, so you would come around for like 1 or 2 years. I think the same thing happened to Bungie that happened in 343. You bring on contractors to solve a problem, and then the scope balloons. So honestly, yeah, like with that, the issue also just comes from Microsoft's end because if you have those contractors come over, they have to work alongside not only the gaming studio but also the publisher as well. And Microsoft would have to pay them like, like health issues, benefits, like an annual wage. And so for a developer, it makes sense. For a business, it does not because the way Microsoft does business is very, very, very asinine and reducted from like other publishers within the gaming industry. And this brings into the next section of the article, which goes about like Unreal Engine 5. As you've known, last year at HCS Championship in October 2024, Pierre Heinz first made his public appearance after 6 years to announce what's the new lead direction. The new lead direction at Halo Studios. So we're abandoning the Slip Space engine. We're going to Unreal 5. And the thing is, with Unreal 5, it is a public domain. It's an open source, actually, yeah, it's an open source gaming engine for everybody to get their hands on. You don't need to be a rocket wizard to work with the Slip Space engine or the. Actually, you do need to work. You need to be really smart and productive with that. But for Unreal Engine 5, you really don't because honestly, in the past 20 years, Unreal Engine has become one of those open source game engines that a lot of people have been working on. You'll see it more often used in like a lot of games like Batman Arkham Knight or Stalker 2, or recently as Shadow dropped, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. And so, yeah, there's a lot of massive investment in Slip Space. It has its pros, its cons. Unreal Engine, on the other hand, I think it has more pros than cons because the thing is, people are really stressed and worrying about how people or how gaming companies will use the Unreal Engine. I like to get my thoughts out. I think the problem is that it's not the engine's fault that these games are quote unquote stuttering or lagging or breaking the game. I think it's the developers and just like a cautious way of approaching to Unreal Engine and how they optimize the game, how they fidel it. It's like a new car. Like you can swap out the engines with out with the old, in with the new, but you gotta like make sure that whatever you're putting inside the model actually works. So hopefully with the Unreal Engine 5 switch to the games, hopefully future Project Halos are going to be much more plausible. They're going to be worth the time investing into. They're going to be They're going to be really accessible, and I honestly, I'm really optimistically cautious about it because we may not know for certain when the next Halo game is going to come out. People are saying that a Halo CE remake is going to get launched. So with that matter, I think it's honestly plausible that we could get a Halo 3 anniversary like somewhere like 2027. So like it could be the 20th anniversary of Halo 3, you know. Honestly, I don't think it's too late to honestly make a Halo 3 anniversary. Again, I don't really need a Halo 3 anniversary in my life. I know there's people out there that love Halo 3 to death and they want something so masterpiece and like modernized and optimized, you know, like all that graphics fidelity. And I think that just like that's pretty much the takeaway from the article is because like if you've been around Xbox for like the past 5 years, other than the Halo side of things, Microsoft and Xbox Game Studios have been really investing into a lot of purchasing other companies like Activision and Blizzard, Bethesda, you know, Mighty Fine Productions or Double Fine Productions. It honestly is a strange and weird business that they're running. And their whole like emphasis on Game Pass as a deal, which by the way, Game Pass is excellent, but what about the other first IP properties that Microsoft has under their belt? You know, games like Gears of War. Like Gears of War got a remaster in 2025 or in 2015, also known as Gears of War Ultimate. And there's rumors and leaks and speculations that there might be a Gears collection similar to MCC. So they're gonna have like Gears of War Ultimate, Gears 2, Gears 3, all remastered somehow. But then there was like a huge concern about whether it was going to include multiplayer or not. We'll have to see. But honestly, yeah, I think that's pretty much about it with the article. I mean, you could go online, just look at it more if you want to. I'm just giving my thoughts out as a Halo fan. I don't think that there needs to be a Halo 3 remastered because honestly, it still looks really good today. But I understand and like get the whole hype behind a Halo 3 anniversary. You know, Halo 3 is just one of those games for the 360 era that really shaped people's careers. They changed their lives. They helped comfort them going through like the Great Recession of 2008. And honestly, yeah, I really completely get that. But as for the moment now, what holds in the future for Halo Studios, for Microsoft, we'll never know. But I would like to say cautiously optimistic that the Unreal Engine will hopefully resolve anything. It'll give us the dreams that we ever think of. It'll give us the potential to make anniversaries, you know, because I honestly think the Unreal Engine has a lot of possibilities. It's a really good engine. A lot of companies are switching over from their own handcraft engines. Like if you think about it, like a lot of the big companies they reuse a lot of the engines from the 90s, so you know like the Havoc engine, the Havoc physics engine, the Quake engine, the Doom engine, the It engine, whatever. I mean, Call of Duty, it's been using the same engine since like 2003. It's just been modified after modified after modified with every year. For Halo, it was a weird history because I was in a late night gaming stream the other day and we were talking about the gaming engine. Halo 1's engine was completely made from scratch, I think. I don't think it was using like an old engine. Probably we're not so sure. There hasn't been like primary resources to go. When Halo 2 released, it used the Havoc physics engine because it completely changed the way you moved in the game, the way like collisions occurred, you know, gunplay. And then Halo 3, and I think from Halo 2 on now, it was using the Blam engine, which Bungie, when they made Destiny, they turned it into the Tiger engine, which is what Destiny 2 and soon to be Marathon will be using on. So yeah, that's about it for the video, guys. I just wanted to get this article out of the way. I mean, it kind of popped up on my radar unexpectedly. Let me know what you think below the comments. Do you guys want a Halo 3 anniversary? If so, how would you? Do you not? What do you think of the Unreal Engine 5 and all that stuff? And yeah, this has been Woodscup, and I'll see you guys more later. I'll keep posting more Oblivion content and more Halo future videos, and that's about it. So, peace.